This is a deck profile on Runick Nordic. And well, this sounds like an unusual combination, but it works decently well together, and is a fun spin on Runicks, especially since Nordics have gotten some pretty decent support recently. Now, to start off with, the Runick package. First up, we have Destruction Runick, which destroys spell trap cards, or can summon a Runick, and all Runicks share the ability to summon a Runick monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. Then Freezing Curse Runick, which negates the effect of a monster and banishes from the top. Blunt Frame Runick, which destroys an opponent's special summon monster. And Dispel Runick, which discards a card from their hand when they search. And these all banish from the top of the deck, as is Runick's gimmick. Then the search spell, Skill Point Runick, which searches a Runick card. These are all quick play spell cards, and are all very strong. But one I am running in Runick that I usually don't run is Slumber Runick. And this one's effect is that if you target one face-up monster on the field, apply this effect to it, then banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Once applied, this turn, that monster cannot attack. Also, the next time it would destroy by battle or card effect, it is not destroyed. Then, the continuous spell Runick Deceit, and the field spell Runick Spring, which I am running at 3 because hard drawing it in this list specifically is generally good, and there's plenty of ways to make use of extra copies you draw. Now, as for the Nordic package, I am running, to start off with, 3 Nordic Smith Evaldi, and this effect is that if you control an Acer or Nordic monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Nordic Relic card from your deck to your hand. And this is a very strong effect because the Nordic Relics are very strong, and this is either a free summon off its own effect, or you can summon off the effect of, say, Gulveig. And so running this at 3 is very useful because you can search out the 2 Nordic Relics. Then, as the targets, for Gulveig, I am running 2 Venatus of the Nordic Ascendant as a level 4 tuner, 2 Mimir of the Nordic Ascendant as a level 2, and 1 Valkyrie of the Nordic Ascendant as a level 2 tuner. And all of these can be useful in different situations, but the ones you're summoning the most are Venatus and Mimir. Then I am running 3 Alvis of the Nordic Althar, and this is an incredibly strong card, as if it is banished by the effect of a Nordic Link monster, you can send to the graveyard 1 Nordic you control and 2 from your deck, whose level is equal 10, and then special summon an Acer monster from the extra deck, which just, with 1 card basically gets you to an Acer. And if an Acer monster you control is destroyed by an opponent except by battle, or sent to your graveyard actually, you can banish this card from your graveyard and special summon an Acer from your extra deck with a different name from the cards in your graveyard, once per duel, which is a nice floating effect. Then, as for the Nordic Relics I'm running Nordic Relic Gungnir, which has the effect to banish an Acer or Nordic monster you control, then target 1 card in the field, destroy it, and then during your second end phase after activation, return the monster you banished to activate this card to face-up attack position. And it's a nice removal effect, and can definitely be good in grind games, and I'm mainly running it because sometimes you'll have access to Evaldi, but no access, or at least comfortable access, to an Acer, so you can search this to use as interruption instead. Now as for what you're going to search if you do have access to an Acer, Nordic Relic Svalin, and this card's effect is that it's a continuous trap card, and if you control an Acer monster, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn, so a complete board negate, and this can happen every single turn once. Then, its other effect is that you contribute 1 Nordic monster, then target an Acer monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is a nice way to recover some Acers. You can only use 1 of these effects per turn. Then I am running Triple Gamma and Driver. Now, as for the extra deck, I am running 2 Gulveig of the Nordic Ascendant, which needs a level 5 or lower Nordic monster as material. And this card's effect is if it is link summoned, you can banish up to 3 cards from your hand or field, and if you do, special summon that many Nordic monsters from your deck in defense position, and for the rest of the turn, you can only special summon Acers and you cannot normal summon or set. And you can only use this effect once per turn. As well, while this card points to an Acer monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with card effects, and monsters your opponent controls cannot target this card for attacks. So this is a 1 card Acer, which is pretty strong, And with a card like Alvis, you don't even have to destroy your whole hand to do it. You just need to get rid of one card. And as for the Aesirs I'm running one of each. One Thor, Lord of the Aesir, who once per turn can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn. And during the end phase, if this card you control was destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to your graveyard this turn, you can banish a Nordic beast tuner from your graveyard and special summon it. When you do, burn the opponent for 800. Then, I'm running one Odin, Father of the Aesir, who, once per turn, can make itself unaffected by spell trap effects until the end of the turn. Then, during the end phase, once again, if this card is destroyed, you can banish a Nordic Ascendant tuner from your graveyard and special summon it. And when summoned this way, you can draw one card, which is a nice effect. Then, one Loki, Lord of the Aesir, who, once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell trap card during your battle phase, quick effect, you can negate the activation and if you do, destroy it. Then during the end phase, if this card was destroyed, you can banish one Nordic Alpha tuner from your graveyard, special summon this card. When summoned this way, you can target one trap card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So this can allow you to recycle cards like Gungnir or a destroyed Svalin. And while each of these are useful in different situations, but you know, the main one of course is Odin, and this is because it's the iconic card and it has some pretty good effects, mainly being able to reborn itself to draw a card. Then of course the standard Runick lineup of one Gary, one Munin, and two Hugin, and a super polymerization package. Now as for a pretty solid hand you can expect from this deck, this is a turn consisting of one Brilliant Flame Runick, one Nordic Smith Vivaldi, one Cypherm Gear Gamma, one Runick Spring, and one Alvis to the Nordic Althar. Now to start off with, I will normal summon Nordic Smith Vivaldi and trigger its effect to search a Nordic Runick, or Relic. In this case, I will search Svalin as I can pretty comfortably summon an Aesir monster. I will then link into Gulveig and use its effect, banishing Alvis from my hand. This allows me to summon another Alvis from the deck, and then trigger the Alvis I banished. Using this, I will dump 2 as well as the monster from my field to summon Odin. And as for what this setup does, well, it gives me an Odin, and the reason I summoned Alvis is so I have one in the graveyard, so if my Odin is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, I can use its effect to summon another Aesir. Then I will go ahead and activate Runick Spring to keep my Brilliant Flame online, and then set Svalin. Now as for what this board does, well, I have an Odin, who cannot be targeted by card effects, who's at 4000 attack. I have Floating in case he is destroyed by card effect, or even battle. Svalin, once per turn, board negates, as well as a Destruction with Brilliant Flame Runick, and a Draw, and a Gamma in case my entire board is destroyed. Now as for what I would do if I don't want to summon an Aesir, as sometimes like with this hand it's more profitable not to, this is why I have Vivaldi's second Runick target. I can go ahead and normal summon Vivaldi, searching a relic, searching Gungnir. As this will give me an interruption off of Vivaldi, then I can go ahead and activate Destruction Runick, special summoning Runick from my extra deck, and discarding Slumber. Using this, I will search the field spell, activate it, set Callbind Pass, and as for what this board does, well, I have the Destruction off Gungnir, then I have Spring's access to it, so I can use Freezing Curse, and then shuffle 3 and draw 3 on the opponent's turn, as well as a Called By. Now, to see what the deck can do with a weird hand, this is a hand of 3 Runick Spring, a Dispel Runick, and an Alvis. Now to start off with here, I will normal summon Alvis, link it off for Gulveig, and then banish 3, including Gulveig, to go and summon Vivaldi, Vanadis, and Mimir. And I will activate Vivaldi's effect to go ahead and search Svalin. Then I will sync these off to Odin. Then I can activate Spring, set Svalin, and now I have Dispel, as well as a draw on the opponent's turn and a Svalin to board negate. So in conclusion, this variant is pretty fun. Lets you summon big Aesirs that are pretty strong and keep themselves coming back, and it's nice to go ahead and give Runick a way to get a big monster on board. And the Runick Spell Trap engine gives Aesirs a nice backbone to protect their Aesirs and give some more interruptions. And the deck's pretty consistent, you can almost always do something